I got to be here on time. I really didn't need it. Oh, I had a great day working out my yard and doing that. My husband was fixing supper and I didn't want to come. Well, I'm here doing my civic duty.
How are you? I used to take a lot of stuff up
All right, good evening. I've got 7 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and call the April 8th 2025 Shelby County Board meeting to order. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, thank you for granting us safety to come to the meeting tonight. Give us guidance and wisdom as we discuss the things on the agenda. Give us safe travels home. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Teresa Bain. Present. Tim Brown.
Here.
Carol Cole. Here. Julie Edwards.
Here.
Chrissy Grant. Here. Jeff Gregg.
Here.
Clay Hardy.
Here.
Keith McCormick.
Here.
Christy Matlock. Here. Tad Mayhall.
Here.
Tricia Miller. Here. James Mitchell.
Here.
Tim Morris.
Here.
Gene Price.
Here.
Austin Pritchard.
Here.
Sonny Ross.
Here.
Larry Seifert. John Tate.
Here.
Christy Walker. Here. Brent Wallace.
Here.
Judy Wood. Here. Chad Gannis.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Move on to item 4, public body comment. Public body comment. Public body comment. Mr. Hardy.
Thank you. I don't know if any of you know this, but about 14 years ago, I was a proponent of wind energy. Actually, I went to college. I started going to college to I was going to make that my career. But then they told me something about the third week. They said, these things will never make enough money to pay for themselves. Okay? And then the next thing they told me is they're going to have to be government subsidized. And that was my last day of college. So anyway, there's some things that you need to, we're not told about these things. That we need to start getting some true information from our government. This guy here, he was talking in Denver, Colorado. He was speaking there. He's a Christian pastor. And some guys from the National Ice Core Laboratory come up to him and said, look, we know that you teach the Earth is 6,000 years old. We want to prove you wrong. Will you please come with us? And so he said, sure. So they took me this massive freezer in Denver, in Lakewood, Colorado, right next to Denver. And they put this big boots, big hat, gloves. Took me in this freezer, and it was 36 below zero. He said, see, Mr. Homan, what we do? He said, we bore holes in that. We go up and to Greenland, and we bore holes in that. It's a government job. And here's a picture of the boring machine. And they drilled down, here it is again. They drilled down up to 10,000 feet, and they studied climate. And here's this highlight. This isn't a very good picture, but what they have is white packed snow and clear ice. And so what we would have is examples of summer, winter, summer. What happens is snows. The snow melts a little bit on the top, then it refreezes and turns up as clear ice, and they get some more snow on top of it. And so what they have is what they call annual layers. And they said the deepest hole they ever drilled was 10,000 feet. And they said, and we've counted 135,000 of these annual layers in our climatology, so we can go back 135,000 years. And he said, if you're telling people that those are 6,000 years, you're wrong. He said, now fellas, aren't you assuming that these are annual layers? See, they never heard of the Lost Squadron. Has anybody ever heard of the Lost Squadron here? Actually, there was, in World War II, 1942, there was pilots flying over Greenland, and some guys ran out of gas, and they had to crash land their planes in Greenland, and so they went ahead and evacuated men and fought the war, and everybody forgot about them, until a rich guy from Kentucky decided to get the planes off the ice. We had to find it using ground-penetrating radar, and they found one, a P-38. They melted a hole down to get to it, and it was 263 feet below the surface of the ice. And they went down in the hole, they took the plane apart, they brought the pieces back up through the hole, they put it back together, and assembled it, and it flies now, and it resides in Middle Rural Kentucky. So here's some scientific facts for you. From 1942 to 1990, that's 48 years. The planes were 263 feet below the surface of the ice. That's about 5.5 feet a year. If you divide 10,000 by 5.5 feet, you get about 1,800 years, not 135,000. Now, the deeper layers, they do get pressed because of the great overburden. And so, 4,400 years, which is the time of the Noah's flood, is plenty of time for all the ice to accumulate in the North and South Pole and Greenland. Bob Cardin was asked, he said, hey, Bob, when you went down to get those planes, he said, did you see any ice layers? There are many hundreds of them. Well, how do you get hundreds of annual layers in only 48 years? I mean, shouldn't there be like 48? He said, well, annual layers? Who told you those are annual layers? He said, those aren't annual layers. They're not winter, summer, winter, summer. They're cool, warm, cool, warm. You can get lots of those in a week. We can do that here in Illinois, right? But they're still telling people that these are annual layers. Let's see. They're still telling people they're annual layers. Okay. Now, did anybody ever hear of Dr. Kimori? This is him. Dr. Kimori, he built a biolab where he raised tomatoes in oxygen CO2, carbon dioxide-rich atmosphere. And he planted this one tomato plant, and he put carbon dioxide to it. He also filtered out the UV rays. He ran the sunlight through carbon fiber optics. And it wasn't very long. The plant grew 16 feet, produced 107 tomatoes. And it grew and grew, and they moved it to a shopping mall, and it was also next door on 85. And they put up scaffolding, and it produced 10,000. Some people thought it might produce 10,000 tomatoes. Is that it? That's it. Well, this whole thing, that we can't make good decisions on energy policies when they're lying to us about what's going on. These annual layers are baloney. These guys have been telling us baloney for more than 30 years, and they're getting paid for it. We need Doge to sick these guys. Anyway, thank you.
Public body comment. Public body comment. Public body comment. Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I respond? Can I ask a question?
You can speak to me.
Well, I just didn't know where we were going to go with this. That's why I kind of didn't know if this was the proper time to wait till later. But, so basically, you believe that oil or petroleum is actually part of the earth and not dinosaur juice?
Well, listen, possibly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I try not to get out of line here.
Okay. All right, public body comment. Public body comment. Public body comment. Move on to item 5. We can approve the minutes, even though I looked over, so we'll go back. Thank you for that. Sorry. Every single time I find something to skip over. So we'll go back to, what's that?
Two agendas. I can't read.
Once for glasses on, once for glasses off, and do the work for you today. So, item 3, discuss and vote to approve the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes, please? Ms. Ward, second. Mr. Morse, any discussion or questions on the minutes from last month? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, Jessica. Item 5, Beth the Bolt, the corner. We got a couple items, which is discussion of vote to approve A, the resolution approving the execution of the mutual aid agreement with the ICMEA, as well as the mutual aid agreement with the ICMA, the Illinois Coroners and Medical Examiners Association. I have a motion on these items, please. Ms. Steinlock, Mr. Pritchard, all you.
Just on the mutual aid agreement, just a few talking points. Before my appointment, Shelby County did not have a mutual aid agreement with the Illinois Coroners and Medical Examiners Association, which is the ICMEA. This was brought to my attention when I was appointed, and since then I've gained an understanding of its significance. In the case of mass casualty or any disaster, additional coroners and or resources may be needed for assistance. Also, if a death occurs within the office or a deputy's immediate family, it would not be in the best interest of anyone in my office to conduct that investigation. This is where the mutual aid agreement becomes important. It allows another office, another coroner outside Shelby County to step in. So by signing this agreement, it enables that all other coroners that have signed this agreement can help provide assistance to Shelby County. Several counties surrounding Shelby County have already entered into this agreement, and by establishing a single mutual aid with the ICMEA, it allows everyone else's assistance without the need to create multiple separate agreements with those surrounding counties. In addition, I have completed the mandatory Illinois 40-hour coroner training, which myself and Deputy Coroner Miller attended in March in Decatur. I have also attended additional toxicology training, and I'm looking into additional training through St. Louis University Death Investigation. I have completed the Department of Children and Family Services mandated reporter training. I have named Travis Boyer as my chief deputy, which is much deserved for himself. He has been at my side every step of the way since I have been appointed and answered my many, many questions. I have worked with IDOT to get them missing SR8 forms from the year 2023 and 2024. I have worked with the Illinois Violent Death Reporting System and the statewide unintentional drug overdose reporting system to update the information from Shelby County for the years of 2022, 23, and 24. I am currently working on creating a handbook and establishing standard office procedures, as these are things that the office lacks. I'm collaborating with HSHS to obtain access to their medical record reporting system called EPIC for the purpose of retrieving medical records if needed during an investigation. And in order to maximize availability and maintain consistent countywide coverage, I have developed a monthly on-call schedule. While the majority of the coverage is maintained by myself with the help of Chief Deputy Boyer, it allows time off by allowing others who want to help the chance to do so. And lastly, in the month of March, our office has handled 15 death calls. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Bolt? Yes, sir.
More question for you, assuming that you're pretty familiar with that. These mutual aid agreements, would they have been of valuable assistance to us as we tried to navigate the tragedy?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes, and so I guess in case you didn't say it, is any members of this organization then fall under, mutual aid? So I assume we would normally only, ask for help from collar counties, but we do have the perimeter. All the collar counties for Shelby County are members of this organization as well.
It would allow me their assistance as well if they were to need it.
I just recall how trying that was to try to navigate, so this would help.
Yeah, and we discussed some other options that she's got available to her in the event we had something like that as well. So, thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Just a comment.
Yes, sir.
Beth, thank you for everything you've done so far. Stepping up, taking care of what needs to be done. Sounds like you've still got a full list of stuff you're working on. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, as it relates to item 5, A and B, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. On to item 6, Scott McKee from Zoning Administration, discuss and vote to approve the following, and I'm not going to lump these in because they are very different. So we will start with item A, which is a map amendment for Zachary Hankins for his property located Shelby County parcel number 2013-22-00-300-007. Have a motion for item A, please. So this not out in the back. A second. Ms. Wood. All right, Scott.
I provided you guys with documentation about this particular requested map amendment on 3.7. So the information hasn't changed since then. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them.
Any questions on this item for Scott?
I think we talked about this in public safety. This is the building that is south of 16 and 32.
No, that was the last meeting's
Oh,
map
okay.
amendment. This is a new map amendment for Mr. Hankins. This is approximately 1.5 miles south of the Irby building on 2100 East, and then
Okay.
back east a quarter mile or so.
Anything else for Scott on this one? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item B, the text amendment providing for self-executing moratoriums for wind and solar energy facilities on behalf of the Zoning Board of Appeals. This item was tabled last month by Mr. Ross, which was seconded by Ms. Grant. You want to pick that back up?
I'll make a motion to take that, untable that, and bring it back to the floor.
Okay, have a second. Second from Ms. Grant. All right. So we discussed this last month. As far as I'm aware, there's been no material change. Any updates that you would have?
Just, the Zoning Board of Appeals chose to take Mr. Ross's and the County Board's advice and broaden the sense of the amendment. Originally, it was scoped into paragraph G of the state statute, which was the portion that required us to approve special use permits. Now it encompasses all of Public Act 102-1123 and the state statute.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Mr. McKee on this?
I have a question for Ruth, if that's possible to do that now. If we were to approve this, what would be the benefits to the county if we were to approve the moratorium?
Well, essentially, it's the same that we talked about kind of 2 months ago. My opinion really hasn't changed. You know, the state legislature has made it clear what their position is in passing this public act. Essentially, it would just provide that automatic stay of any new permits.
Could it end up that they would, that the companies could come back on the county?
There's no way to tell.
Can you clarify that question?
Well, if we vote no, or if we vote yes to hold the moratorium, to hold them to not be able to do the wind and solar, could there be a court case that they would come back on the county?
So this would only go into effect if there already is a challenge to the law. Okay? So there would already be a case pending challenging the validity of the law. And it would only affect new applicants. So if they already had the permit, it wouldn't affect them. There's always a potential for litigation. But essentially, we just provide that automatic stay to new permits.
Thank you.
Hey, Tad, before you call the vote, can we just kind of refresh what the vote is as far as yes, no?
So if you vote to approve, you're voting to approve the self-executing moratoriums. Those would go on into effect if Public Act 102-1123 were challenged at the appellate level.
To clear it up.
Well, kind of.
Yes.
My understanding is this county board has long held a position not in favor of wind and solar, because of legislation that was passed, this county board is not allowed to deny any permits for wind and solar. Correct so far?
So long as they comply with the state's requirements.
Correct.
But that is correct.
Right. So all this is doing is saying that if that portion of that law were to be changed and we can start once again denying permits, we would automatically do that. But if the county board changes its mind, the county board can reconvene and go back the other way. But this will not impact anybody that has already contracted anything wind and solar. This is a forward-looking, what if that law gets changed? We go back to a moratorium on wind and solar, which is the position we held for many, many years.
Right, that is more or less correct. The moratoriums would go into effect and against the state's law as it is if it was being challenged. During that time, we would more than likely be challenged at the court level. But I think what this attempts to do is give us the opportunity as a county to either pursue court action ourselves or use another county's choice to pursue court action as a safety against these commercial energy facilities.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe Sonny really was real close, but the one word that's key is challenge. If someone challenges a state law and there's an argument in the appellate court system, correct me if I'm wrong, if it's challenged and they say, hey, we don't want anybody telling us in our county what we're going to do with wind and solar. If it's challenged, that automatically means, boom, stop. Shelby County takes the stance that we will stop all new wind and solar until it's decided. It gives us a pause until that happens, so we're not forced to go farther down the road with something we don't already want.
Correct.
Fair?
That is exactly
Okay, all right. And I think that probably protects us more than anything, because I don't think really let's face it, the collar counties aren't worried about protecting Shelby County and their wind and solar. They don't realize that we're farm community and that's our farm ground at risk, so.
As a county board, I would recommend that if you really don't want these commercial wind or commercial solar companies, there are other courses of action that you should take. This is just what if, maybe this will protect us, maybe not, but it doesn't replace action that the county board could take to try and challenge this law.
Thank you. Anybody else on this?
So it all sounds clear until I step in the mud hole. Okay, so a yes vote would be to continue with the moratorium, basically where the county is now. Basically what they've.
No.
There's a moratorium with.
So if you vote yes to approve this amendment, there is no moratorium. There currently is no moratorium, and there wouldn't be a moratorium until the state's law gets challenged at the appellate level or higher.
Okay.
So at that point, then the moratorium would self-execute.
But voting no means.
That you would not pass this amendment, and that wouldn't go into effect at the local level.
All this is going to do is ensure that if there is a challenge, that we won't have new projects getting permits that then have to be continued, even if there's something happens in court where it's shut off. So it's more or less putting it in writing that nothing new will happen if it is challenged.
And that's with a yes vote.
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody else? Perfectly clear. Anybody else? Okay. As we move to item 6B, all those in.
You got a motion and a second to untable, but you didn't
sorry.
get a motion and a second.
You're right. You're right. So as it relates to being on the motion, motion by Mr. Ross, second. Mr. Wallace. Oh, sorry. Mr. McCormick. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. On to item C, Lithia Estate Subdivision, final plat for David and Barbara Gowan. Have a motion on this item, please. Mr. Morris, have a second. Mr. Ross? Any discussion or questions on this item?
Did anything change from the preliminary plat to the final plat?
No, sir.
Anybody else? All right, item C, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, guys.
On to item 7, by tap Norfolk County Highway Engineer, discuss and vote to approve the following items. A resolution to enter into a joint agreement for use of local funds for the reconstruction of County Highway 3 east of Finley. Estimated cost to be $2.55 million, of which $160,000 may be used for local funds from the FASM, the Federal Aid State Match account. Item B, award section 19-171200-00-BR, reconstruction of County Bridge 087-3120 to Sea Hill Civil Contractors in the amount of $424,993.50. 100% of construction to be paid by township account. And on C, supplemental engineering agreement for structure 087-3038 over Drake Creek Branch in Ash Grove, Big Springs Townships on TR 25-3A for $12,100. Have a motion on this, please. Mr. McCormick, have a second. Mr. Wallace, any discussion or questions? So if I can understand this, Finley Road, going to finally get some attention?
Yes.
Okay.
East of Finley Road is going to get, it's on for an April 25th letting. It's looking to be reconstructed this summer, hopefully. So.
You say expected this summer, Michael?
I'm sorry.
This summer?
This summer. So as long as bids come in well, it's construction this summer, yes.
Was there any idea of how long it would take? I'm just worried about the traffic for the businesses that.
Yeah, this is going to happen. Asphalt has to be laid in certain temperatures, so unfortunately it's going to be prime time whenever this happens. I don't have really other choice that way, but I estimate 4 to 6 weeks, but I'll know more whenever the contractor has a pre-construction meeting.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
How big is that job? How many miles?
About 3.3 miles.
Okay.
Excluding the bridge, it's actually 5.4, but
Okay.
yeah, 3.3.
Any other questions?
So it will be from the city limits of Finley to the bridge?
I'm sorry, what?
So it will be from the city limits of Finley to the Finley, what we refer to as the Bruce Finley Bridge?
It will be...
Is that 3 miles or is it?
It will be from the railroad tracks on the east side of Finley to the bridge, and then from skipping the bridge, omitting the bridge, and then another 1.5 miles or so on the east side of the bridge as well.
Anything else? Questions, comments? No? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Bain?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Edwards?
Yes.
Grant?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Hardy?
Yes.
McCormick?
Yes.
Matlock?
Yes.
Mayhaw?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Morse?
Yes.
Price?
Yes.
Pritchard?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Tate?
Yes.
Wofford? Wallace?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Yanis?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Move on to item 8, discussion and vote to approve the Public Safety Training Foundation Agreement. I have a motion on this one, please. Ms. Matlock, I have a second. Mr. Pritchard. This went through public safety. That was last week. This agreement allows both dive and rescue to perform training at the facility indicator, sponsored by, I believe, the Buck Foundation, if I'm not mistaken. So, large facility up there with a lot of opportunities for both of our response services to be able to go up there and train, as well as, from what my understanding is, to have certified trainers come in and actually certify them on other tasks there. So, as discussed in committee, if I miss anything, please remind me. But there's no cost to the county, there's no cost to the teams to go up there and use the facility. They just have to coordinate the times that they want to go up there and perform training, whether it's dive, rescue, whatever it happens to be. So, really good facility with a lot of opportunities, with some unique training opportunities they may not be able otherwise to get. I believe the one we specifically talked about was grain bin, to be able to get our folks trained up on the grain bin and stuff. So, so with that, any questions or anything that I might have left out?
Can I just make a comment?
Yes, ma'am.
I had the opportunity to tour a lot of that up there a couple months ago, and it is an amazing facility. Lots of things that they've added to it, so I think that'll be a great thing for these folks to have to do that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, we'll see none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you. Motion passes. Move on to item 9, committee reports. Anything from any of the committees? Okay. Moving on to 10, which is chairman updates. I do have a few. The PCOM position, after some conversations with IDOT, they did ask that we make some changes to the structure just a little bit. One of those includes the pay structure, as well as really kind of the type of person that we'll be looking for this job. So those updates are posted. The pay range has been updated and posted, so all that is on the county website. If you know of somebody who might have an interest in this position, all the details are there. They're more than welcome to call me for an update, but all resumes need to be submitted. It's on the website, but it'll be through the clerk's office with a deadline of April 30th, because IDOT is pretty anxious about getting this position filled. So in the interim, Beth from CEFS is filling out most of the paperwork, and I'm taking care of the signatures to make sure that we're keeping up with all that. So we're filling a gap, but we do need to get this thing filled. So take a look at the pay. The pay scale is pretty good, considering it's been switched now to an hourly position. So it does look like a good part-time job for somebody that might have an interest in this. Zoning board, I can go back to my notes here. I did speak to Scott today. We need one more zoning board of appeals member there. So they have to come from a different district or township. So the townships that we cannot have another one from would be from Flat Branch, Oak Hall, Rose, or Windsor. So anybody else that lives in a township that has somebody that might be a good fit for the zoning board of appeals, please let me know, or speak to Mr. McKee as well, as far as what that might entail. But we do have one vacancy, and he's really looking to fill that spot there with some of the applications they have coming through. They really could use another person on there. The fiscal year 22 audit is complete. The annual financial report was still incomplete, and so we coordinated with Sickage, who's doing our pre-audit work, as well as coordinated with Benford Brown. Those two entities communicated. We were able to provide the last bit of documentation that was needed to finish it, and Sickage went ahead and finished the data entry, filed it, and so it is now on the comptroller's website as being complete. And then fiscal year 23 is underway with Sickage doing the pre-audit work there as well. So the relevance is Department of Agriculture, IDOT, comptroller have been interested in making sure that these things are getting taken care of. And so the one is done, the other two will be soon underway and taken care of. So, but we do have that finally completed. And then an update on the camera. So last month, obviously, we couldn't get the camera to work. Wasn't sure what it was. My tech came in and picked it up, and through looking at it, there was extensive damage to the HDMI port. Unsure exactly what happened, but the HDMI port was severely damaged and not allowing connectivity. David, my tech was generous enough to reach out to where we bought the company, where we bought it from. He still had a 3-year warranty on it. They did choose to cover this under warranty for us, and so it was sent off for repair. As of this afternoon, the update was it was shipped out today from the repair facility in New York. So the camera's been inoperable now for a couple months, I guess. I haven't understood what the problem was, but it was determined to be the HDMI port. So we will hopefully have this thing up and running at the meetings going forward. So, all right, moving on to item 11, which is chairman appointments. I've got the Cooperative Extension Committee for 1-year term. Names to be Christine Matlock, James Mitchell, and Tim Morse. Have a motion on these 3 items, please. Ms. Cole, Mr. Price, the second. Any questions on these? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Appointments passed. Moving on to the Strasburg Fire. Robert Rowley, trustee for a 3-year term. Mowequa Fire, Jeremy Zendel, a trustee for a 3-year term by resolution. Shelbyville Fire, Paul T. Bennett, trustee for a 3-year term by resolution. Tower Hill Fire, Brad Rowley, trustee for a 3-year term by resolution. And Windsor Fire, Tim Bennett, trustee, 3-year term by resolution. I have a motion on this. Mr. Ross, have a second. Mr. McCormick, any questions, comments? I see none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item 12, correspondence. I don't think I have anything today. Okay. All right, item 13, any old business? All right, no old business. Moving on to item 14, approvals, payment of claims. I have a motion to approve the claims, please. Mr. McCormick?
Before we do that, there was a couple that we had problems with.
Sure.
That we're working on.
Okay, yeah, we'll go through that on the discussion. Okay. So I've got a motion, Mr. McCormick, I have a second. Mr. Pritchard? Okay.
There's a couple that we did not approve. One of them being for the law library, that there was sales tax on it. And this happened the last time they submitted the bills for it. And I went down and talked to the public defender, who informed me it was the judge's responsibility, that he would talk to the judge. And again, we get these bills and there's tax on, and I think maybe somebody made a phone call. Jessica, didn't somebody call somebody to try to explain to them?
We got the tax taken care of with the Thomson Reuters bills. Yeah,
Okay.
that's been corrected.
That has been corrected. And then there was a claim for Annette for the treasurer's office that the invoice showed one figure, and that figure was crossed out with a lesser figure put on the request for payment, but nobody can get an answer from that person why the difference between the two figures. And that person has been contacted, voicemail was left, and a text was left. So we did not approve that claim. Okay?
Any amendments or anything to your bills apart from that?
No.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I would make an amendment to add the Thomson Reuters bill to be paid with these bills, because
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to motion to amend to add Thomson Reuters. Have a second.
Second.
Ms. Edwards? All right. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, back to the original motion. Any discussion or questions? Mr. Lees? Yes, sir.
So I don't want to see the county go into a late payment situation. I don't think anybody on the finance committee wanted to see that either. I would lean on your advice as to whether or not we approve it as, make an amendment to approve the bill as submitted, or make an amendment to pay the bill as was charged. I'm not really sure how to proceed because
I haven't seen it, so I don't have any.
It's
It's not that much
no,
money to
it's
start
the
with.
difference between $45 and $30 or something like that. It's a nominal amount of money. We were just trying to get an answer. Ms. Matlock has her hand up.
It's a continuing issue, and as far as I'm concerned, when I'm on the finance committee, the bill needs to match the invoice, what we're writing a check for. If the invoice is incorrect, then whoever's receiving that product or service needs to contact the company and arrange to have the invoice corrected. This should not be happening 5, 6 months in a row. We need to get it fixed, because we don't want to be in arrears to anybody for any interest fees.
This was 2 months, wasn't it?
There's actually more. It's actually been ongoing for a while. Yeah, so it's important to get a good invoice.
Have we reached out to the provider?
I haven't, but I can if you want me to.
I mean, if we're not getting answers otherwise, I mean, somebody would probably.
I will get a copy of it before I leave tonight and contact the company and ask.
Okay.
Okay? I can do that.
I mean, I guess to that point, if you want to make the amendment to do it, and I say not seen it, I don't know if I have any guidance on that.
I understand. I just, Ms. Matlock, and I understand her position. I don't disagree at all with her position. I just don't want to see us fall into a situation where we're not paying our bills because they're not being submitted properly. So I'm not really sure.
I will contact them and see if we can get it taken care of.
Okay.
I'm
Going
satisfied
forward,
with that.
yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, comments on the bills?
So that bill we're talking about is not being submitted with the.
That's correct.
Okay.
We did not vote to approve those 2 invoices.
Okay.
Anything else? All right, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Dane?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Edwards?
Yes.
Grant? Yes. Gregg?
Yes.
Hardy?
Yes.
McCormick?
Yes.
Matlock?
Yes.
Mayhaw?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Morse?
Yes.
Price?
Yes.
Pritchard?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Tate?
Yes.
Wofford?
Yes.
Wallace?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Yanis?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. All right, on to item 15, public body comment. Yes, ma'am.
Seeing Paul's name here on the agenda made me think, I don't know if everybody has seen, but Shelbyville City Police officers, Paul Bennett and Joe Howe, were instrumental, and I'm sure the whole force too, I don't mean to just, but their names were mentioned, recently in working with the Secret Service to stop a fraud or a scam of over $250,000, potentially of $250,000. There's a great description of the event or whatever on WAND's Facebook page. I'm sure their website too. If anybody's interested in looking into what exactly the details of what happened, but I mean, we should always be thankful and grateful to our the police, but those guys, I think, kind of need a little extra pat on the back because that was something pretty impressive for Shelbyville.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, they saved somebody $250,000 in swift action. To get recognition from the Secret Service is noteworthy for sure. So, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Public body comment? I'm sorry.
Yes, I had the honor to attend the 60th anniversary for CEFS. It was a great banquet, and there were lots of stories of resilience, people who were down and out and got back on their feet with the help of the programs of CEFS. It was wonderful to see and hear the good that program brings for our county and surrounding counties. One of the stories that was told will forever be ingrained on my heart. about a lady walking through the snow with her 2-year-old to a homeless shelter, and she is now a registered nurse through the help of that program. And it just makes people realize every decision we make is for the people in our county. And some people are struggling out there, choosing whether to buy groceries, put gas in their car to be able to go to work. That's what it's about. We have a lot of people in our county that struggle, and so every decision we make, we need to keep that in mind.
Yeah. Thank you for that, and thank you for attending. I knew that you'd be the right fit for that position, for sure, and this accentuates that, but also, again, it speaks to the importance of making sure we get this PCOM position filled, because that PCOM operates and services 7 different counties as it relates to CFS and the transit that's allowed there. So, there is some importance behind getting that position filled. So, thank you for that. Public body comment? Public body comment? Public body comment. All right, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. McCormick, second, Ms. Matlock.